And what we're doing is starting off the day. We can see we got a little bit of snow going on. It's going to be probably in the 20s and 30s. But right now, that is the most important thing right there, because we're going to start off. We're going to make our latte. I did a little bit of priming. So we already got our milk. We already have our vanilla and coconut, a little bit of sweetener. We're going to go through and do the rest and get our latte going. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and today what we're going to end up doing, we're going to do a light roast. So if you can see that there, some nice light roast beans, if you want to see the dark beans. So yeah, a little bit of a difference. I've taken a liking to the light beans. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to do about 20 grams. 20 on the nose. 20.1. Okay, close enough. So there it is. And what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll put this in the hopper. That should work out. We'll get a portafilter. And go ahead and do our light. And we'll commence the grinding. Yeah. These beans are really good, the dark ones. The light ones are really, really nice. And there we go. Look at that. Oh yes, that is going to be good. Good. And what we'll do our little spreader tool, and this is going to rotate around. It'll kind of get rid of all the clumps. And it just spins around there. It'll break up all the clumps, so that way it'll minimize the chances of channeling. Channeling is where you have water will go down and find the weakest way, the weakest point. And with that, if it does that, it'll have a little bit of a problem because the water won't go through all of the grounds and you won't get a good shot. So put on our little screen there. Then what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll run a little bit of water through this. This is kind of an important thing because if you have an espresso machine, one thing that this will do is it'll heat up your group head, so it's one less variable that you need to deal with. The second thing that it does is it allows you to put your portafilter fairly easy because there's a rubber gasket under there. And if you do it dry, it'll wear out that gasket. Okay, so let's see what we got here. We'll go ahead and we'll get this. We'll prime this. And we'll see what kind of latte we end up getting here. And I think we're good. And then let's go over here and we'll just go ahead and run this. And we'll see how this goes. And look at that golden goodness. Look at that. Oh, that is looking good. Look at that. It's like golden honey. And we're pushing about 38 and a half, which is pretty good. That is not bad at all. I think we're going to have a looking. Ooh. Yeah, it's a lot of work, but oh man, it smells good. Double shot latte. Yes, it is a little bit of work, but just go ahead and let that. Go ahead and do our milk once. As an auto frother, you don't even get that much. That's true. That is true. I'll get away from the noise. That's true. There's not a lot. I put in 20 grams of coffee grounds, and then you run through, and then you get about 38, 40 grams. But that's some highly concentrated. That's espresso. That's actually a double shot. So you're getting the caffeine. We're getting the caffeine this morning. That is absolutely true. But with that, it is going to be good. Now, the difference that we have going on is that you have people, if they don't know how to make the espresso properly, you'll either get a bitter or a sour tasting shot. So in other words, it can be real bitter or sour. It's actually two different tastes. And so what you try to do is you get enough of the water through, and you got to get that balance of like a 2-to-1 ratio, 20 grams in, about 40 grams out, or 1.5 to 2. And that seems to work out pretty good. And try to do it in about 30 seconds, 30, 34 seconds, 35 seconds, somewhere around there. And ultimately, the whole idea is going to be the taste. So it's really going to come down to taste. And what I might like might be different for you. So that's kind of a thing to take a look at. Let me set you all over here. And what I'll end up doing is I'll tweak. I'm going to redo my milk a little bit. I do the auto frothing because I'm lazy. But at least this will get it, it'll get it partially gone. And I like my milk hot. So what we'll end up doing is I guess I could bring it over here and I could show you this. So let's do that. I don't think I've ever done that where I've show what we do with the milk per se. And so with the milk, what we're going to end up doing, we're going to do a manual now. And we're going to put this down below. And what we're doing is interjecting bubbles into the milk. We got some large bubbles. We want to try to get this so it kind of like the consistency of paint. I'll drop that down there. That is hot. We definitely have hotness. So, and we got some good bubbles there. Try to settle some of these a little bit. And now what we'll end up doing is we'll go ahead and we'll take our cup here. Let's see if I can Go ahead and pour this in. Ooh, look at that goodness. And I spilled some, but that's okay. Oh, that is good. That is good. That is not bad at all. And I think what we'll end up doing is we'll do a little bit of coffee. We'll do a little bit of, I don't know, let's do a little design on this. I'll give that a shot. And so with that, what we'll end up doing, let's see, we'll just do, come on. This is getting all squirrely on me. I haven't used this in a minute. Okay, let's try this again, see if we can get this. Again, nothing really crazy as far as designs. So what we'll end up doing is we'll just kind of do this, just kind of do something a little different, and boom, there we go. There we have our latte art. Irish it up a bit. Yeah, a little bit of morning Irish coffee. I can get that. Let me see if we can get this going. I gotta pay attention here, because last time I had the camera and I was carrying the coffee, I spilled it. Or my latte, I should say. So I gotta pay attention to the cup. There we go. Oh, and since we're here, we did some remodeling. Over here, I ended up getting a new light. So it's motion activated. And then you can move these around and kind of rotate these wherever you want. So that's kind of cool. And then, oh yeah, we printed out this bad boy. Look at that. Yes, yes. For the Emperor. So we got all that, and then I moved the previous light, that white light here, for this one here. And so I have another workstation kind of. So I got paint station 1.5, I guess it is. And we got our camera set up, we got everything. I think we're almost good. Right behind me, that's where the window's at. And I'm gonna end up getting a pegboard put in there. So that's gonna be pretty nice. So we're doing that. And then, where'd you buy the lights? Do you have to get a new camera? Yeah, we got a new camera. We ended up, the new camera was a Yellow Cam S3. That's the one that's over there. It has real good focus on it. So that's the one we're using for that. The one that is over here, that is Facecam 4K. And then that's like a, I don't know, EMET 4K. And then I've got a Logitech Brio right there. So yeah, it ends up, and all the cameras work. That's pretty cool. So yeah, it is some good stuff. let me get my coffee going, my latte. See how good it is. Not overly sweet. So like I said, I got some vanilla, I got some coconut, and I kind of reduced the amount of stevia that I put in there, sweetener. So it's kind of a more mild. So yeah, it's working out pretty good. Other stuff that I've got going on, I don't have the cool lights on and everything. Well, you got the phone, so. But yeah, things are doing pretty good. And I stumbled upon another project. Sultan says, good morning, Steve. Greetings, Chile, Korea. Yes. Yes, we're doing the latte action there. I don't know if you can see that. I guess I better move you. Boom. So doing my own lattes, vanilla coconut with a little bit of chocolate decoration on top. With the light bean roast. So got the beans from Coffee Cupper up in northeast Korea. So yeah, somebody says they admire my patience. Well, thank you, appreciate that. It takes a while. But here's the thing. I was like in the military, I started out, and it ends up that Folgers coffee. That was the thing. That's what I learned how to make in the military. I would drink a shitload of that, and it got to the point of where I'd have Folgers and then a little bit of cream, a little bit of sugar, and then they ended up having the, like the vanilla and stuff like that. So it was like, ooh, that's kind of good. I didn't know how good lattes were until I came to Korea. And I mean, Starbucks doesn't count, I don't think, because those are just sugar bombs. They're just big glasses of sugar. But it wasn't until I got to Korea that I actually had good espressos. He's going to head out to a cafe and make oat milk latte. That's how they call it here. Yeah, oat milk's good. I like that. It's a little bit of a muted taste. I'm more of a dairy person, but oat milk is okay. My wife does the oat milk. But I like, generally I like a vanilla bean latte. I've had sweet potato latte. That was different. That's kind of interesting taste. And what other coffees do I like? Hazelnut latte, I like those. I like straight up espresso sometimes. And if we're going to a new coffee shop, I'll ask for an espresso, and that's just like what we saw out of the machine. It just, boom, that's it. It's just the coffee shot. And usually I get a double shot, and then that's it. So, Swedish Ford says, I'll buy this camera, and I'm using my phone, so I apologize for that, because the words are really small, and the comments, they stay up for like 5 seconds. So let me see if I can pull up the live, and we will mute. Oh, there's some comments. Hey, I can see comments. Okay, let's catch up there. Bum, 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 bum. Swedish Forge asked about like the lights and all that stuff. I ended up getting up a lot of that, all of that off of Amazon. So, yeah, like the scaffolding and stuff like this, that kind of goes up and across. I've got those off of Amazon. And let's see, Swedish Forge, missed my stream twice. Oh no, shame on you, sir, shame on you. But you're forgiven. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, and Sultan, he said he's gonna head out to get an oat milk latte. Okay, cool. I will buy this camera, and what do you think about it? Search on Amazon for it, Logitech Stream Cam, full HD, 60 frames per second. That could be good. I don't know. I haven't looked at that one. Let me see if I can copy that, and we'll put it into Amazon. That's not working. Not working. Logitech StreamCam. Okay, I guess I got to type it. Logitech StreamCam, full HD, 60, $154. Holy crow! That's a chunk of change there. I don't know. I've never used that one. What I would look for in a camera, and it depends on what you're doing. If you're just going to do like a talking head video, stuff like this, you could use your cell phone, and that would work well. If you want a dedicated webcam, I would go with 4K because generally those you get a little bit better quality. Yeah, you could do, well, anything's pretty much going to be transmitted on like 1080p as, you know, full HD. You could do that. 60 frames per second is good. That way you don't get motion blur, so it doesn't look kind of choppy. And let's see, autofocus. Get something that's got good autofocus. I ended up having the Logitech, the Elgato Facecam 4K, and the autofocus on that sucks. It is horrible. Yeah, so that is not it. Printing and painting is what he's going to do. Just make sure, I'm trying the YoloCam S3, and it seems like that has got a good autofocus, but that's like, what, $200 or so or something like that? What did I pay for that? Dun, 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 YoloCam, yeah, it was like $199. Excuse me. And then, but I don't know. Something that's got real good autofocus. So you'll have to look through your reviews to find out, you know, which one would be a good camera for autofocus. Because if you're doing painting, kind of like, you know, I'm painting a little figure here. This is my very first Warhammer figure that I painted. And if I bring it up there, you know, the autofocus isn't really that good on an iPhone. Of course, let's see, you'd have to do, yeah, it's just kind of rough. And some of the webcams don't have a real good autofocus. So that's why I got the S3, and it seems to do better than like the Logitech Brio and things like that. But I don't know. It's you're going to go through one or two, but go through the reviews on YouTube and look for autofocus, best webcam autofocus, and you can start to wade through all the different things there. Sultan says that he can't stand the taste of cow's milk. Actually, I don't stand coffee until I tried oat milk, and now I'm an addict. Oh, okay. I haven't done much oat milk. I do it every once in a while, but I'm kind of a dairy person, so it is what it is. We got Chillin' Connectives here. Hey, he says hello. Do I have a link? Can you show us? Let's see. What can we do with the link? Yes, we can do that. We have the technology. So there is the YoloCam, and there's that. You know what we can do? Ooh, this would be even better. I wish I wasn't live streaming on the phone, is what it comes down to. Grr, grr, grr. Let's start up, if we can get our cam on. Get our cam on. And what we'll do is we'll make this big. And we will select our paint station. And let me make sure that the camera that I got on for the paint station, that's that YOLO Live or YoloCam S3. And we're going to crank that baby up to 60 frames per second. And imaging, we're good there. Focus, continuous. Okay, so we should be good to go. And what we'll end up doing is I'll kind of show you the autofocus. And I'm sorry, I apologize for this. Maybe I should have just done, but I wanted to show my latte skills. But I think you can see what I'm getting at here. So yeah, I think we're good. And now what I'll do is I'll take our little, we got a couple of miniatures there, and I'll show you how well those autofocus with the S3. So if we come up here and we start, you can see how that autofocus came right in there. That is a pretty good autofocus. So for miniature painting, I think it's good. And then as soon as we go away, the autofocus is pretty nice. And then let's do a little bit of a bigger one. So we can get this is our other guy. And if we bring this in there, so the yellow cam's pretty good. It does a pretty good job of focusing. If we take it back there, if we bring it up over here, it's going to take a little bit. So you've got to be in the center of the frame, but we've got some good details as far as like getting that focus. And with the 60 frames a second, we don't get motion blur, and so that turns out pretty good. So, but now what we'll end up doing, let's go over to this one, and this is the Logitech Brio, and we'll get some light on the subject. And so we'll kind of do the same thing. And we'll show, here's our miniature, and if we bring it up there, that's actually not too bad, but see how it kind of, then the focus goes back. So if we bring this in there, sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't. So it's just, you have to play with it a lot. So we got that. And so let's say we bring this guy in here. And so you can kind of see the focus. See how it's kind of hard to focus sometimes. And this is a bigger model. So that's the problem with some webcams, is that sometimes it'll work, sometimes you'll have some problems. And then, well, let's take a look at this one. Let's throw this light on. Now this is the Elgato face cam, and we'll do kind of the same thing. So we'll bring this up, and yeah, this has just got horrible autofocus. See, like that, it's just, I mean, you start to get it, but it's just not, I think that's okay. But I think the other cameras are better. So, yeah, it is what it is. Let's see, let's get back to what we're doing. So I think out of those cameras, the Logitech Brio, oh, and then we have the Emit 4K, which is up here, which, let's take a look at that. I forgot about that one. So this is the Emit 4K, and we'll see how this works. As far as like focusing. So like coming up, and it goes back, and that's not too bad. So the EMIT 4K, that isn't bad. Let's see how it does with this guy. So that's not a bad one either. So that'll kind of give you an idea of what cameras can do what, at least. So not too bad. So let's get it focused out. So that one's not too bad either. So yeah. So those are the ones that I have. And let me see if I can find, I think we can close this out because we're not going to need our eCam anymore. And we can just go back to answering comments and drinking coffee. So, but that one, the EMIT 4K, let me see if I can find that one. EMIT 4K webcam. And that's $50. That's not bad. Let's take a look at that. I'll show you. So the EMIT 4K, that's $50. It's on sale, at least in the United States anyway. So EMIT Nova 4K, pretty good. Autofocus, it's pretty decent. Noise canceling mics. I never use the mic on those things anyway because they suck. So I think the big thing would be to look at whether you can get 4K. That would be preferable, because if you zoom in, then you're going to have some higher quality. Whereas if you have a 1080, 1080p and you zoom in, you're going to lose a little bit. So that's why I kind of like the 4K. The autofocus is something that I would look for. And then don't worry about the microphone. I get a separate microphone because most of them suck, unless you're sitting right in front of it. So, and there's the YOLOLIV S3, and yeah. Oh, what's the other one? The Logitech Brio 4K. And that's, I don't think if I've, is it that one I got? It's 169. Autolight Logitech Brio. I think that's what it is. I think that's what I got, the Logitech right there. Let me take a look and see. If I can get this out of the mount. Yep, that's the one I got right there. So that one's not too bad either. 126 bucks. But definitely double check and newer model. Ooh, Brio 4K. Ooh, that's an expensive one, 200 bucks. So I would check those out and see, you know, definitely read the reviews and see what they say about it. Yeah, so there it is. I don't know. You're gonna, you will probably buy more than one. That's what it comes down to. Let's see, some of the other stuff. Stand orders. Oh, nope, I want orders. So some of the light stands. Let me see if we can get some of this. Look for like Neewer, Neewer. And let me see if I can find like the big one that I ended up getting. Here it is. So kind of like the scaffolding that you can take a look at here. And you can find something that is kind of like that for 89 bucks. I mean, that's not bad. You know, you get your little stand, you know, vertical, it goes on a table, the other side, and then the cross beam, and then you could add, you know, other components to that as well. Has adjustable height and length and all that stuff, which seems to be pretty good. And then you can get some different adapters and stuff like that, you know, for camera arms, different all shapes and sizes. So yeah, look for something like that. So newer is something that you probably want to take a look at as trying to get that. As far as the light, hey sweetie, how was it? It's cold? I bet it's cold.
Huh?
I bet it's cold.
It's cold.
Cold, cold, chilly cold.
Yep.
Yes, you're cold.
Cold.
You're cold, cold. Okay. LEDs. Let's see. What was that light I got for a fill light? That one there. So the Godox ES45 key light. That's a key light that I have, and that's what this one is right there. And the cool thing about that is that it's got the little remote. It doesn't have a softbox. I 3D printed that, the grid on there. So, but that's a pretty good little light there, and you can get some good lighting. And I just got a cheap little ring light that came with a, I don't know, phone stand or something. And I just end up using this as my fill light to get the other side of my face. So yeah, that Godox ES45 key light, that's pretty nice because here, I mean, it's really thin. And again, it doesn't have this here. I 3D printed that, but it's got a removable remote. So that way you can change the colors, you can change the percentage, you can dim it and all that good stuff, and you can have that down on your desk, or you could, you know, just put it there, magnetic charges, and you're good to go. So that turns out to be pretty good. I actually like that a lot, and I only have it at about 4% or so. Let's, oops, I don't want to knock my coffee over. Let's see, questions. Let me get some comments. Can you post the link in the chat? Sure. Can I do that? I don't know if it'll go docs ES45, I think that is. Is that what that is? ES45. Okay, we'll see if we can post this. Hey, it works. Dun, dun, dun. Swedish says Yellow Chemistry 4K costs $348 USD on Swedish Amazon. Wow. Holy crow. Sultan says, huge kudos for all your work. Well, thank you. Let me see if I can find I'll post that little square rig up there. I gotta go back to orders. Stand, and that was a newer. Oh, I could just do newer. NEEWER. And oh, there it is. Okay. And I don't know, you might be able to find something similar. I don't know if you guys, Swedish, if you have like AliExpress or Ali, you know, something like that, or Temu or whatever. Let me throw that up there. Oh, it's not going to let me. I have limited. Yeah, I would check AliExpress. Let me see if I can. Da, da. Two heads. Let's see if we can do this. Does that post? Yep, that'll post. So that'll get the thing for newer, and you can find some scaffolding and stuff like that, and you get some separate little arms, like we ended up here. So I've got a bunch of them. I'm a gadget fiend. So I found one like this, how it kind of hooks up there with the little, just a little thing here. Another one, this is by Newer, and is what, the D5005 or DS005 is that little arm. And it's got, I made the cell phone holder or the tablet holder there. But yeah, or you can get something that's kind of like this, where it's got some connectors, and then you could position this to wherever you want. And I've got that one there as well for that little light. I don't use it much. Or something even like a little clamp, and you could do an overhead, but you could do the same with this as well. So yeah, a lot of different stuff, I'm gonna set it down so y'all don't get seasick. So I'll move this over here. Piled 3D says I get all my filament from AliExpress now. Well, almost. And Swedish says that yes, he has. They have like Timo or AliExpress. I haven't ordered anything from AliExpress here in Korea. I use Coupon. So that's what I end up using. That and Amazon. Those are the two things that I use mostly. So those work out pretty good. But I probably need to check out AliExpress to see if that is AliExpress, because they have that in Korea. But I got to do some comparison shopping and seeing which is good. So yeah, I don't know. Let's try putting Newer in there. Oh, let's go back. Here's what we'll do. We'll copy the Newer, like that scaffolding that we saw on Amazon was $89. And if we go to AliExpress, we'll see if we can get it cheaper, or if they have it. Oh, they got some stuff for Newer. Newer overhead rig. Let's just do that and see what we get. Okay, they got some of that stuff. They don't have the exact same one. Another one to look up is Small Rig. Small Rig. And they've got some camera mount. Maybe that'll be it. You get a camera arm, magic arm, which is one of the ones that I got on here. That's $47 on AliExpress. I don't see the big scaffolding thing. What else would that call? Would that be called? Light stand. Okay, we just got a bunch of tripods. Let's try desk mount. light stand. They got some stuff on there. They don't have the big one that I saw on Amazon. Man, that'd be a chunk of change. Holy crow. 300 and what, 80 some odd dollars you said? That would be a little rough. Dun, dun, dun. Pound 3D says 7 pounds for PLA for a pack of 7 pounds per kilo. I'm assuming that's pretty good. If I buy from AliExpress, it takes over a month to get the stuff. Yeah, it will. If I get stuff off of Amazon, it takes about 2 weeks. If I order stuff directly from China, week-ish, somewhere around there. Piled 3D says, depends on the item. I think this filament is in a closer warehouse. Swedish says, yeah, it takes over a month to get the stuff. Wow. AliExpress, PLA. I want to look at, oh, so Piled 3D, what is the company name that you use? Polymaker PLA. Yeah, Polymaker. Yeah, they got some Polymaker there. PLA, lightweight, Polymaker, hypersonic PLA, matte PLA. Let's see what that pops up with. Polymaker Terra, colors. Excuse me. Yeah, the prices aren't too bad on there. How about eSun? eSun PLA. eSun, about 15 bucks. Not bad. PLA plus, so it's about $15.77 a kilo. eSun's pretty good. PLA plus. Interesting. I'll have to check this with coupon and see what the difference, and Amazon, to find out what kind of prices we can get. Let's just throw in the color black. So eSun PLA, 10 rolls for $89. Ooh. That's Sunlu PLA. That's PETG. I just want PLA. PLA 10. That's $102, about $103 for 10 rolls of Sunlu PLA. That's not bad. So it's about 10 bucks. Nice. Let's take a look on Amazon and we'll see what Swedish says. AliExpress has warehouse in the EU. That's pretty good. It's always nice to have closer warehouses. And Sunlu, it's about almost the same. A few dollars cheaper. It's $103 as a welcome deal for 10 kilos. And then on Amazon, it ends up for 10 kilos. Well, that's PETG. There's PLA Plus, that's $149. So yeah, it seems to be cheaper on AliExpress. Interesting. Hey, I'm gonna run. I will be right back. Let's see. Pile 3D says packs of 10 are good deals. Yeah. I like the 2.5 kilo spools, the Polymaker that I've been getting. I get a good deal on that, and bigger spools that are nicer. I'm going to go to the little boys' room, and I'll be back. So hold on, away from keyboard. Give me a minute. Talk amongst yourselves. Alrighty, we're back. And I even washed my hands. So, but yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I'll definitely have to check out that AliExpress. Because if I can save a few bucks, I will definitely do that. Go ahead and turn some of this off, because I don't need that. So, dun, 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 dun. King Rune. Let's take a look at that. King Rune PLA. King Rune PLA. Never heard of that before. £22 for 76 bucks. 10 rolls. There's one. 18.44. Wow. Well, I think it's got like a discount because I haven't signed up, so they got the little like for discount if you first join or whatever. Huh, interesting. 12 bucks a spool for PLA King Rune 3D printer. Standard. 12.59, 12.17. Interesting. New shoppers say $5. Not bad. Just stock up on, get a good one. Get a huge order. We have Temu. Yeah, I've never ordered anything off of Temu. Pile 3D says it's basically Sunlu. With black, they're mostly the same, but some brands have nice shades. Okay. And cheaper, that'll be good. That won't be bad at all. Swedish Ford says, I like printing figures with Elegoo filament. Works very well with K1 Max. Cool. Yeah, I think once you get to a place where you find a filament that works well, and then it's like, okay, I'm satisfied with it. Boom, you just run with that, and that works out pretty good. So I get you there. But there was a guy. What was his name? He's on Facebook. He prints some pretty big stuff. And let me see if I can find him. If I can pull up the Facebook. Pull up the Facebook. And let's see, where was he at? 3D Printing World, maybe? Maybe, we'll see. He does a lot of big stuff. Let me see if I can find him. And I think he uses like Sunlu. don't see him on here, not this one anyway. Let's go back. 3D printing, beginners and pros, I think he's on here. And he does some pretty incredible stuff, if I can find him. Of course, when I try to find him, I can't find him. His name is Gary. Bernard? Can't remember. Let me see. I think I copied his. Gary Bree, N-N-A-N-D, Gary Bernand. I think this is him. Yeah, I think this is him. Oh yeah, here he is. So this guy does some cool stuff, and he lives in Perth in Western Australia, and he does some big prints. So I want y'all to take a look at this because he does a lot of good stuff. So here's this guy, Gary Brennan, and again, he's from Perth, and of course he's got kinds of cool stuff. Oh, it's cool, whales. But he ends up doing some big prints. Look at that. So yeah, him and his wife is the painter, he prints, and he has got some pretty cool stuff. You can see he's got some big models that he sells. And then the cool thing is that he shows, he uses Creality Print, but he shows his settings on here for the most part. So he's got all those on what he uses with making those big life-size models. And I think he said he uses for supports, because he does Tree Auto, Tree Slim, but I think he does for the infill, where is it? As far as infill pattern gyroid, sometimes he does any cubic or adaptive cubic. So there's that. Let's see some of the big ones he's got. Spark. So he's doing the spark thing. Where's the big? I want to see one of his big ones. Yeah, check that out. So that, he does all kinds of stuff. I mean, and especially the big life-size ones are pretty wild. And he's done some life-size, droids and stuff like that. Pretty amazing. So yeah, he's got it going on as far as the 3D printing and the scuba diving too. So yeah, he's definitely, I would check him out and copy his settings and whatever if you're going to do life-size models. And with that being said, oh, there's the one. There it is, the Hulk. He's done the Hulk. Let's see if we can make this a little bit bigger. That is pretty cool. That is a big Hulk. We've got a Hulk. Look at that. And then, of course, he puts his, he uses Sunlu matte PLA on that. And then he's got all the settings there. So Arachne, 3 wall loops, top shell layers 5, bottom shell thickness 1, bottom shell layers 5, bottom shell thickness 3%. I think this one was adaptive cubic. So there's his different settings for all that stuff. So yeah, pretty amazing. And yeah, just incredible. I want to know how he cuts the parts out. So if we take a look at that, we zoom in, we can see there's a cut around the head. I don't know how he does that. I don't know if that's a separate program. That's got to be a separate program. So you can see the cut lines and stuff like that, but so kind of like that. I don't know how far that goes. I'd love to see him do a video. I think the hands are separate. He cuts the hands. I'd really like to see him do a video on how he does all that stuff. So I'm going to try to pimp him out and see if get him to spill his secrets on how he cuts those things out, because that would be amazing. So Swedish says that yes, he's seen him and he makes extremely large prints. Yeah, he does. That's cool. I think he uses Luban. Oh, I gotta show you. Where is it? Come on. Where is it? I found a splitter. Let me get this and see if I can show you all. So it ends up, this is called meshypixel.com 3D splitter. So, well, actually, I saw this off of Reddit, and this is the page, meshypixel.com. And he's got a number of tools. You can convert SVG to, I guess, STLs. So he does that. Or you do this down here. He's got 3D splitter, quick engrave, and line art. Well, he just did this 3D splitter. And what you can end up doing is, let's go ahead and let's find a file. Let's do, I don't know, EIBOR. We'll do Ivor. And we'll bring this, we'll drag this into, and then there's Ivor right there. Yes, I can post a link. Let me go back. Sorry about that. Meshy. What was it? Meshy something. SVG converter and splitter. There you go. Now the cool thing about it is the splitter ends up, it's free. And I spent money on, what was it, the splitter one? Okay, so there it is. And you have model, you can split, and then you have the parts. And then down here in this page, you can actually set your printer. And since it has Creality, but it doesn't have what I want, so you have to put in your own information. So I'll just do, we'll do 340 by 340 by 340. And material PLA, infill 5%, layer height 0.2. So you can set that, and it'll kind of give you, you know, your filament cost, whatever that comes out. I wish you could enter in like, enter in a dollar amount, but you have this slider, so it needs some work on there. But let's go back to Ivor, and let's go ahead and we'll drag Ivor into here, and we'll do that. And then it also has tools on this left-hand side to either move, rotate, or scale. So if we're going to do the the rotate. Let's see if we can, and it's either left click, right click, things like that. Okay, let me see. There now. Okay, there we go. And then we'll go to move. It won't put it on the bed. At least I haven't figured it out. We'll just kind of get it close. And then what we'll end up doing, let's scale this. And the scale, unfortunately, if you pick, the blue, the red, or the green, that will scale your X, Y, and Z. But if you grab like the white box, and then it'll scale the whole thing. So we could do something like that. And then it's just kind of an odd way. I really wish you could, let's scale it some more. We'll kind of get an idea how this works. And then we'll go to move. Oh, that's where you can change the, and yeah, so it's kind of, so now even we rotated or tried to move this back onto the build plate area, but it'll cut this up and you can actually move, like if you go over this plane here, and then you can move that to where you want it. And so hopefully, that would work out. But I don't know how well you can adjust that stuff. You know what I mean? And I don't know, if you do something like that, I've just found this and I was just playing around. So if we do that, and then we'll go up here to the top left and we'll hit split. And then we have the choice of grid, natural, or planar. So we're just going to leave it on grid. This will end up being 36 parts, grid cut, and it's going to take a little bit. And I haven't tested this out. This is the first time I've run through all of this. So that's going to take, okay, it's going fairly fast, not bad. And there we can see, but you would definitely, yeah, some of those you'd have to adjust. So it still needs some work, I think. And then if you ended up, you can do tabs and stuff like that. But I really think, like on this information here, when you go through and you do your split, or at least go back to your model, you should be able to scale it. Like if I'm going to scale it, let's see if we can reset everything. Dang it. See, that's the other thing I don't like. You have to start over. I wish there was like, it's just, I guess this is in the beginning phase. So if we have our model, and we're going to rotate this guy up like that, and then we go to move, so we're going to move him up, and then we go to scale. I wish you would be able to put in or type in the scale, and whether the scale would scale it fully on all axes, or you could just, uncheck a box, kind of like what you do in Creality Print, to just do it one by one or scale it all together. But you can't enter in numbers here. So it just gives you the dimensions and that's it. And when you do your scaling, come down here, it doesn't give you to scale. You can't enter in like 400% or whatever. So that's kind of a problem. So when you scale this thing, you just have to grab one of these, one of the boxes, one of the white boxes, because you've got the blue, the green, and the red, but you just have to grab one of these boxes and drag and pull. And then it starts going to, and then down at the bottom, I had to reset that. Let's just put 350. Oh. Oh, I got to put it on custom. 350, 350, and 350 for Quality K2 Plus. And we're good to go on that. Okay. So now if we do this, and we can scale this bad boy up, and now we start to see, oh, good Lord. It's like, seriously, I don't know what I'm, and so it does a pretty good job of looking at it. And I don't know, for the hell of it, let's just see. But yeah, I'd really, if you're going to make one piled 3D, make sure that if you're doing your scaling, make it so that you can change the percentage and, you know, be able to type that in and enter it. Because right now it's just kind of drag, click and pull and then scale it. And then you're in between, you know, you're not going to get an exact thing. So like if this guy ends up having, we get him at 172%, and then there's a base, it's real hard to scale that to 300 or 3,772% to get it right on the nose. So that's the problem with that. This needs a little bit of updating. But if we go to split, let's see how this one works out. We'll do the grid, 60 parts. And let's see. Piled 3D says he's working on something similar. Interesting. I've got that working, but just for the file view for now, that I can adapt to split too. That is nice. So again, it cuts it up. And that's going to be a lot of extra filament, because if we take a look at, can we, explosion distance, we can kind of bring that out. So that's kind of cool. Seriously? But figure all of this, there we go, like that big green block there, that is going to be a hell of a lot of filament. And that's where that splitter 3D comes in, and where they hollow it out, but you're only going to get the shell and some other pieces. So it minimizes the amount of filament. It's looking like SPLIT, the number 3, and then R. And that looks kind of interesting. But yeah, I mean, that's cool. And let's see if we hit parts over here on this top left. Check parts for overlaps, thin walls, and other issues. And then it gives you kind of a cost breakdown, 21.52 kilos, 19 days of printing, almost 20 days, $388 with 5% infill. So yeah, ooh, let's run the validation, see what that does. Piled 3D says you can either set in millimeters or percentage and scale together as uniform scale or not. Oh, okay, that's good. Hollow is cool, very useful for large size stuff. Yeah, because otherwise you're gonna go crazy. Okay, we've got red flags. Part 1 has a thin section, 0.9 millimeter thickness at its thinnest point. This may be fragile when printed. Okay. So how is that going to be fixed? Is there a fix-it thing? I don't know. It's just, and here, well, and then the question is, how do you download it? Clear, split, export. Okay. So on the top, we have export. So let's export this. And we'll do, so it says export. And we can do this by parts. We can do, you can pick your parts. We're going to do all. And we could download zip as exported as 3MF. I don't know, did that just do it? Okay, export, split parts. Okay, so there that is. So let's see how this works as far as we'll do. So it puts it into a zip file. That's kind of cool. Let's bring up Creality Print, and then we'll see how this works as far as we'll drag all those parts into Creality Print and we'll see what happens. So we got Creality Print up, split parts, 64 items. That's a lot. And we'll just select them all. We'll drag them into Creality Print. And there we go. Holy crow. There's got to be a lot. But then it says you're going to have thin sections of 0.9. How does that work? Because you're loading a 3MF, but you can go through and change it. Does that make sense? So let's take a look at that. I don't know. So why would that be thin is, I guess, what I'm asking. So here we have, let me see if I get this in the center. We'll bring this in a little bit. We'll try to make this so we can see everything. Okay. Too close to other parts. Yeah. Non-manifold edges. Yeah, we got that little warning. Okay. Here's the other thing that I wish. I wish in slicers, when you brought in like mass amounts of parts, that it would automatically make another build plate and then put parts on those. You know what I mean? Instead of having to go through and do all that and then get another plate and we'll drag, oops. We'll do that. Oh, we'll have to do that. And then we'll have to do another one. See what I'm saying? You're going to have to do, what was it, 36? 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that is a lot. So it would be really nice if slicer programs, if you brought in a bunch of this stuff, that you could just go through and then they would automatically populate onto plates instead of having to go through all this. But again, this is the first time I've ever done it, so you might be able to combine some parts. Of course, you have to reorientate everything. And again, this is 350 by 350, so I think there's going to be a little bit of, but crow, look at that. And you might be able to go through and get some other parts on here and combine some parts. Like there's a small part, there's a small part. That's going to be a big one. That one. That one. I think that would be. So yeah, we could save some room by combining some parts, but Interesting, huh? And how many more do we got? So we'd have to do another one. Oh, that's going to be all the plates it's going to let you do. And how many more parts do we got? We got all these little bits and pieces. Holy crow. That's a lot. It's like pulling a rabbit out of the hat. It just keeps coming. Like breed like rabbits. Seriously. Are we ever going to finish? All those little teeny tiny parts. Hey, we finally got it. So we could load up. We could load up all like these little parts here and stuff like that. Consolidate. And then we could throw some of this other stuff on some other plates. And I kind of want to see what this will come out as if we run through and do all of this. Come on, baby. So I guess apparently there's a limit to the number of items you can have on a build plate, or the number of build plates that you can have. And let's see, I think we can throw that one there. We can move that. Throw that there. There's another one. That'll work there. And okay, there you have it. Let's go ahead and we will slice all, and we'll see. That is going to take a minute. So we will see. We'll see what that comes out. An object is over the boundary. Yeah, okay. On plate 2, okay. And sure enough, it was. Oh, it made it too big. Or did it? Goes over the boundary. Or maybe I'm just not. Okay, let's try it again. Slice all. We'll see how this goes. But I wish there was a way, and I think I remember seeing a video a long time ago of like either Fusion or Blender or some other program where people ended up taking a model and then cutting it, and you could cut it like around the arm. So if it ends up, it's like if I'm the model, you could draw a line around the arm and it would cut right there, and it wouldn't be like a planar cut. So we'll see how that goes. I think we got some problems on number 6. Oh yeah, that's going to take a while. 36 plates, holy crow, and a number of problems. Let's see. So anyway, that meshy thing looks pretty interesting. It's free, so that would be something to take a look at. But yeah, I would definitely have to go through. This is got problems on plate 6. And sure enough, yes, there's something that needs to get moved. Okay, now slice all again. You know what? Yes, I know. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. It's going to take a while. That's for sure. Slice all. Because we got problems on 12, 13, 15, 18, 19, 20. Yeah, we got a ton of stuff. So it's going to take a while. Anyway, yeah, that's what we got going on. So it'll be an interesting little project to see how that works out. But the fact that it's free, that is pretty impressive. That is pretty impressive indeed. So Piled 3D, if you do make one, and like you said, you can adjust the scale percentage, and then if you can get it to hollow at the same time, so let's say instead of having a big block, like say the chest is, a big block, 350 by 350 by 350, and you could do the hollowing and then have your connectors on there. That would be pretty good because you could, I think Luban does, or no, not Luban, but the splitter, the program that I bought that's on my laptop is able to do that, but the UI is messed up. That's the only thing I don't like about it. So, but it was still in the beta. So I don't know if I haven't checked that in a while. I wonder if they have the final release version, because I sent some recommendations and stuff, and that just, yeah, the UI is, but this one is pretty good. I like the UI. It's intuitive, makes sense. You just need to change those little deals there, and that should work out pretty good. So yeah, good stuff so far. And then, what was it? Who is the guy on YouTube, Kitchen 3D, or 3D Kitchen, or whatever it is? I saw one of his old videos, like a couple of years ago, talking about using 0.6 instead of 0.4 for the layer heights. Let me see if I can find him. 3D Kitchen, or CNC Kitchen. 0.4, 0.6 nozzle. And yeah, that was 3 years ago. CNC Kitchen, that was the one. So 3 years ago and 6 years ago. So 3 years ago, yeah, 3 years ago, he talks about how you get some of the similar, very similar quality, like almost really similar, between a 0.4 millimeter nozzle versus 0.6. But the 0.6, you end up getting the prints are even faster. So let me show you that one, because that's a video that I think, if you're into 3D printing, it looks really, really interesting. So let me see if we can get this going. So let's take a look and I'll show you. So there it is, made with layers, and which is crazy. That guy's got 527,000 subscribers. That is insane. But that guy, if you're into 3D printing, you probably found him, and he's got the benefits of using a 0.6 nozzle with a 0.4. So he goes through and talks about it. He's got a couple of videos on that, and he does some time trials and stuff like that to show the difference between the times for a 0.4, and if you're doing stuff like the, let me get this back there, 0.4 versus the 0.6 nozzle. And let me see if I can find the details are negligible, but if you're just doing like cosplay items, it's not bad. Yeah, I think you have to watch the video. I don't know if he actually has, let's see if we can find that. I think for cosplay items, it would be pretty good. Dun, 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 dun. Does he say? I wonder if he's got a, trying to scroll through and trying to find if he's got the little thing that says like how long it takes to do something, to slice it with 0.4 in print versus the 0.6. I can't remember. I can't find it. But on one of his videos where he does that, he talks about, or maybe it's that video, benefits of, or the 0.4 millimeter nozzle just became obsolete. Let me see if I can find. Yeah, here it is. Or can it, or does he? Talking about classic and Arachne as far as, I don't know. Anyway, yeah. You can check out those videos and check it out for yourself because those look kind of interesting. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe, and it looked like there was a pretty decent amount of save time for the filament, you know, as far as printing, it's just shorter time. So that might be something that would be worth it, especially if you're doing a large print. And then, yeah, that would be a thing. Hand plate 12. Let's see, what are we doing here? So I gotta correct that. Okay, so that's there. We'll do that one. And I'm doing some changes to the models that we're slicing up. So let's change that one. And then try to move some of this stuff around. It's just a pain. And we could do that one. So I don't know. I wanted to, like I said, I want to do one big print one of these days. Let me see if I can get some of this fixed here. Oh, that was definitely off the plate. That needs to be fixed. I really want to find out how long this stuff is going to take for this model. Okay, that needs to get fixed. Oh, there. That. Oh, we're gonna have to rotate that around a little bit, get that looking normal. And that. I think that's good. That needs work. So with that. That we need to change. I think we're good there. We'll do that. Do that. And we need to move that. Trying to get everything all squared away here. That was going to be a weird one. We'll just do that. Now let's see if we can slice all and see what happens. Plate 12 of 36. Oh, I still need to go back to 15. Dang it. Let's see. Swedish says, I would like to print big, would be good to know. Yeah, if I'm going to do some cosplay items, that's going to be some big stuff. Got to do some armor. Like I said, I want to do the Doom Eternal Slayer. I have the helmet printed out. I've got the files from Galactic Armory, so I've got those, but I'm waiting for his form fitter software. Excuse me. So I'm waiting for his form fitter software to come out, and they did a little, he put out a little demo thing on Facebook, and you tried the link and everything, and it'll take like shoulder measurement, chest, bicep, waist, hips, the whole 9 yards, and then all the measurements, thighs, calves, whatever, even the length of, the torso and arms and whatever. So it does all that, but it maxed out, and like you put your arms down to your sides, and for my chest, because I got a fairly decent sized chest and back, I had to recommend him, say, hey, you need to up the variables on how high you can go for scaling things up. I said, I'm a big guy, 260 pounds, 52-inch chest or 51 and something, 52-inch chest. You're going to have to make that bigger because you got some even bigger boys that do cosplay. And then the other thing that you end up is that you might have people that are normal size, but then you end up, they will build muscle suits and they're going to put the armor on top of the muscle suit that they're wearing. So again, you're going to have to be able to have larger biceps, larger shoulders, larger chest, thighs, the whole 9 yards, if somebody really wants to go big with their cosplay armor. So I recommended that, and he was like, yeah, that sounds like a pretty good idea. So yeah, fun stuff. Let's see here. We get, we're stuck at 15. 15, there's 22, 16, there's 15. And sure enough, it was over. Because I wasn't paying attention. And that needs to get moved over. Oh, we got 2 pieces on there, that's why. Okay. Oops. My bad. My bad. So 15's good. I'll have to go back and do 17. 17, 18, 20. Yeah, we're getting there. But yeah, I would like to do the big armor thing. And like the Warhammer, my pig sticker. The pig sticker. Oh, that is awesome. And I got a guy that wants to commission me to make one of these for him. So that'll be kind of cool. So I made a few mistakes, but yeah, that is going to be awesome. The new pointer stick, be good. That along with the axe. So, and 17. Let's see, what do we got on 17? What is wrong with that? It says it's over the boundary. Okay. I think 18 was, that was over the boundary. That's good, that's good. That's good. That is over the boundary. That is over the boundary. And that is over the boundary. Boy, I wasn't paying attention, was I? We're getting there. We're getting there. Swedish says awesome. Yeah, it turned out really nice, really nice. Piled says nice. Swedish says, what kind of sword is in the background? The gray one. Oh, that's the Frostmourne sword that I printed out. And this one is doing, that's the Frostmourne. And so I did a little bit of, I still need to do some work on some of the seams and stuff and kind of sand these out, especially around in here. But I did this, and this is going to turn out good. This is going to my daughter. But I just need to clean up some of this. And it's got some layer lines and stuff, but I'm not too concerned about it. I just want to get the big stuff filled in and then do another layer of primer, and then we'll end up getting that done. But yeah, that turned out really good. And this is from the, what is it, World of Warcraft, Frostmourne sword. So that's kind of a cool little guy that we got there. So yeah, that one looks good. I like that one. So I'm gonna get that one. So yeah, I get so distracted. It's like, I get distracted because it's like, oh, cool, let's do this and let's do that. And then, yeah. Yeah, it is nice. It is nice. So, yeah, I like it. And I think my daughter will like it too. But I'm getting to the place of where I get that. Well, I want to try to do that dagger. Today's what, Tuesday? I've got a paint and greet locally. So Swedish says ADHD. Yeah, it's like, ooh, cool stuff. Squirrel. Just not enough hours in the day. But I found a tabletop game place where you can play games. And this Thursday, on Thursdays between 6 and 9 p.m., you can paint miniatures. So they also teach people how to play Warhammer and, Magic the Gathering. I'm not into that, but I don't know. I'll go check it out. But we'll do the paint, some miniatures. So I primed some stuff up, which actually, let's take a look at that. I forgot about those. And I'll take a look here. So some of you remember this guy here. We did the bigger one. So he's all primed and ready to go. So I need to do some black, and then I did some of these little guys down here that are primed, as we can see there. So they're primed and ready to go. So I think I'm going to paint these guys, or try to paint these guys, when I go there this Thursday. So I need to do these in black and then do a zenithal highlight because I'm going to do them in speed paints. But yeah, I think these are going to turn out pretty cool. So just a little mishmash of different stuff. And this is going to be a bigger guy. So yeah, that'll be interesting. Yeah. I haven't figured out the color scheme I'm going to use with him, but that'll be pretty cool. So, yeah. So, yeah. So much stuff to do. So much stuff to do. Let's see. Oh, we've got some on our Ivor. We got the results. And there it's going to be 24 days of printing. 370 dollars to print that guy out. And I'm not even sure how tall he's going to be, but yeah, apparently it works. But yeah, 24 days, that's insane. And then the amount of filament is kind of wild. Look at that, 18,000 grams. That is insane. 24 days of printing. That is just, and that's the other thing, is going back to this. Like I said, you end up looking at, big stuff like this, something like that, and we look at the preview, and what you're going to end up getting there, I mean, that's 20 bucks right there. But look at all the filament that you're going to be using. And that's adaptive cubic. Is that adaptive cubic? What is that? Tree Auto Slim. Oh, that supports. Wait a second. I don't even know what I'm doing here. Strength, that's where I want to go. Yeah, so that's 7% adaptive cubic. Let's drop that down to 5. And then we'll slice all again and we'll see what happens. So I'll take a little bit. Something says it's too close to others. I just want to get kind of an idea of how much something like that would cost to do a big one, But for something like that, that would definitely have to be, you would need 2 printers, I think. It would really, because then if it takes 24 days, basically 25 days of straight printing, if you have 2 printers, you can reduce that to half the time. So you get down to 12 days. No wonder people want more printers. Let's see. And this doesn't even have the tabs on there. I just, yeah. Tabs, we have no tabs on that. Split. Oh, you can do tabs. But it doesn't show tabs. Interesting. I don't know. So yeah, that's what we end up having. And it's still cranking along. So yeah, the benefits of having a second printer, doing large prints, or you could dedicate one printer to doing the large prints, and then you could have another printer to do your ADHD prints. If you looking at, oh, look, there's another miniature I want to paint. Oh, there's a, whatever. You could have like your large printer and then your other printer. That's why people have so many printers. Yeah, that's why they have so many printers. I get it now. I get it now. But man, that would be crazy. Reducing that infill, I think, is down to 5%. I think that would work, especially if it's just you put it together, boom. But not being hollowed out, that's gonna chew up a lot of filament there. So I don't know. That's quite the interesting thing. Swedish says, I have two, and you. Right? So yeah, eventually get another printer. I need to figure out how to get my YouTube money paid out to me. So I really need to do that because I think I got like a few $100s off of that. So that would go towards the printer. I think it's like 400 something. So it's been waiting and waiting and waiting. So I need to get on my AdSense and figure out how to get all that transferred to my account or whatever. So that'll offset the that and my allowance. We'll be able to get a printer. So another printer. Again, kind of leaning towards that Prusa Core 1L. Kind of leaning towards that. But that's a big chunk of money. And I could just get another K2 Plus by itself. That could work. But that Core 1L, I don't know. Oh, who was it? Oh, did you see the video on how much Swedish Forge, how much does a K1 Max cost in Korea? That's a good question. Let's look it up. We'll bring up coupon. Maybe it'll be up on there. K1 Max. Any cubic K1 Max. Get the Cobra 2, S1 combo. K1 Max. 3D printer K1 Max. K1 Max, okay. 300 cube build area, and we're looking at K1C, K1 Max. The cheapest one is 1.2 million, basically 1.2 million. Let's see, so 1,212,001 divided by 1440, that would be $841 USD. So I could get that. But if I look on Naver, so it's like 1.2 million. K1 Max. We'll go to shopping. I'll see what it ends up being on Naver. Naver pay 1,162,000, so it would be a little bit cheaper. 1,162,000 divided by 1440. That'd be $806, $870, $807 is what that would end up being. So that's not too bad. And I would get here tomorrow. Costs the same price in Sweden. Okay, that's not bad. Not bad at all. Okay, it finished slicing the 36 plates. And by reducing the infill from 7 to 5%. It's now only 23 days and 13 hours and 55 minutes, and it's only $334. Sultan says we headed over to Songsudong this morning. Yes, we never stay at home, even in this weather. Sitting in a gorgeous cafe right now, enjoying my oat milk latte and working on my code. Oh, cool. Congrats. I'm almost done with mine. Almost done. Anyway, catch you later. Have a good one, guys. Yes, you too, Sultan, as well. Thanks for stopping by and checking it out. That is pretty good. So yeah, that K1 Max, that's not a bad price for here. Oh, I wonder what the Prusa Core 1L. That one's going to be rough. They don't even have it on coupon. Prusa Core 1L. And, ooh, that's going to be expensive. It is going to be rough. It is $3 million, and the value-added taxes included, 3,150,000 won. 3,150,000 won divided by 1440, $2,187. What is it on Prusa? That's the interesting thing, because now I want it in English. So 1,500. Okay, with shipping, $175 for shipping. We're looking at $1,773, but that does include the VAT tax. Modeling for beginner course. Probably want to get an extended year's warranty. Prusa Slicer Masterclass. Yeah, go ahead and we'll throw that in there. So we're looking at 1,800. So not bad. I think and that's without the value-added tax that I'd have to pay when it came to Korea. So that's probably about the price that it would get. How long would it take to get here is the question. No, I just not included 3 million won. I don't know. Because anything over 150 USD is going to have a tax on it. So, Swedish says you can drive to China and buy a printer. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? But I'd have to go through North Korea, so I don't know if that would work. Maybe they got a ferry that goes from Korea to China. But that's the Prusa. Yeah, the XL though, with the 5 extruder heads. Oh, no way. There's no way I would get that. That is just insane. And honestly, that's old tech. That is old tech. So let's see what the damage is. Number of print heads. Ooh, 5 print heads on the Prusa Core 1. That's $3,600. And that's a no enclosure kit. With the enclosure kit, now, we got a Prusa MK500. What? Check this out. I don't know. This is interesting. This just popped up. MK500. It looks like a bed slinger. I bet you it's going to be like a bamboo A1 thing. But let's check this out. The go back. Seriously. Why is this doing this? Prusa, what are you doing to me? Here in Sweden costs 50,000 Prusa Original XL. Oof, that hurts. Let's just redo this page. Seriously, really? I don't know. English, okay. No, I don't want to. English, come on. Work with me. Okay, that's not what I want. Seriously. Shipping to don't you love live stream? South Korea. Okay, save that. Boom, save it. Just save it. 17977, I think it is. Okay, whatever. I don't care. Anyway, so the XL, that is old tech. And they had problems with that from the beginning, and I was interested in that, but as soon as the first one came out, people were like, they had all kinds of problems, and that's just with one extruder. So if we did 5, and yeah, you're looking at $3,600. That's not even with the enclosure kit, and if you throw that on there, you're looking at, almost $4,000. That's just insane. There's no way I would buy this. And the whole reason of getting a Core 1L would be the fact that you get this, and then you're going to have the index upgrade kit that you could put on here. So that's going to be right across that bar there. So you have the index kit. That'll be a little bit more, but yeah, that's what I would go for personally. Flagship printer with index upgrade discount. But what was that blog thing that we saw? That new something come MK5, whatever it was. It was a secret. Software Models Community. Courses, blog. I can't find it now. Oh well, anyway. Oh, so we finished up there with our, and now by changing that, it's 23 days, 13 hours, and 55 minutes. So we knocked off basically a day by changing the infill from 7% to 5%. So that's not too bad. That would be a big deal. as far as how that would go. Basically 24 days of printing. Yeah. So I think I'm going to hold off on doing something that big. I'm definitely going to hold off until I can get another printer, because that's just too crazy. That is just too crazy. Like I said, it's doable. It is doable. Have to rearrange some parts, but yeah, I mean, I would love to do something like that. To do a big model. And we'll see how that goes. But I would definitely need different printers. So we don't want to save. We're going to just discard all of that. We'll close that up. And we'll see how that goes. Yeah, it's expensive. That Prusa stuff is expensive. Here in Sweden, it costs 50,000. Search on Ender 5 Max. Let's see what the Ender 5 Max. Go back to neighbor. Ender 5 Max. And we'll do shopping. That is going to be 1 million, and it would depart today. And that ends up being 1,612,000. 1,612,981 divided by 1440. So we're looking at 1,120 USD. So, but that's, that's a strange thing about, I'll show you. That's a strange thing that we end up seeing, is that's a large scale printer. What is that, like 400 by 400, I think it is. 64 points, all that stuff. Let's see, expand the details. It doesn't have any pretty pictures. There it is. Yeah, 400 by 400. That is really tempting. That is tempting. But here's the thing that I don't get about Creality. It's like you have different hot ends for like every machine. That's what it seems like. And it's like, why wouldn't you find, I don't know, is it the same or is it different? I want to say it's different. Let me see. Let's ask the AI and see if we can find out. Is the hot end for the Creality K2 Plus the same as the Ender 5 Max? I don't think it is. And that's the thing that bugs me about Creality. They have so many machines. They just came out with that iSpark, and that's a different hot end and extruder and the whole 9 yards there. It's like, I understand that you're going to upgrade and you're going to do stuff different because it's going to give you better results. It's going to be more efficient, yada, 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 and all that stuff. But it's almost like they build brand new machines just to build machines, just to sell the machines. And yeah, I don't know. No, the hot end for the K2 Plus is not the same as the Ender 5. Ender 5 has a different stock hot end assembly. So the K2 Plus has a stock high flow ceramic heating block hot end for higher performance. I switched that out for the Micro Swiss. Dun, dun, dun. Enter 5 Max has a completely different hot end assembly. But Creality offers an official ceramic heating block kit upgrade with similar features. It's not a stock part, it's an aftermarket upgrade. Yeah, the hot ends are not identical. You couldn't do that. Yeah, that's what I don't get. I mean, it's like, I understand you're trying to upgrade and get better products out there, but it just seems like Creality has got so many different products out there. It's insane. Because let's take a look at that. Creality. Because they've got a lot of printers. Holy crap. Compared to, they got the Spark i7, so that's a new one. You have the flagship with the K2 Pro, K2 Combo, K2 SE Combo, K2 Plus, K1 Max, K1C, K1, so we're up to 8. And then the Ender, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Hullet, we're not going to count those. So we got like 15. Creality High, 16. So we're looking at 16 3D printers that they have available for sale. And then if you throw on the resin printers, that's another 4. I mean, that's a lot of printers. That's a lot of printers to, and how long are they going to support these forever? Because the K2 Pro is, the big flagship one that's going on now. K2 Pro Combo, that is 300 cube build area. That wouldn't be too bad. How much does that run? If we just get the K2 Pro by itself, that's $850 USD. And then the Spark, Spark, helps when you click on the right thing. That's pre-order, and that's $400, and that is, what is the build area on that? Color changer, blah, blah, blah. They reduced some of the retraction time and stuff like that. They've got a different hot end. They've got a quick swap nozzle, which looks a little funky in my opinion. Multicolor printing, 50% less waste. So they're stepping in the right direction. What is the build area? 260 by 260 by 255. Why wouldn't you just go for 300? I don't get it. Dun, dun, dun. I don't know. Let's see what other printers. Ender 5 Max though. And I would try to get an enclosed printer. So if I got the Ender 5 Max, I would get it with the enclosure as well, because that would reduce the sound. I live in an apartment, so I'm kind of, I want to be considerate to my neighbors. But the Creality High, I mean, that just came out, and now they have the iSpark, and the Creality High is $400. And the build area on that, what is that? Yeah, Yes, auto calibration. Yeah, we get that. Yeah, we get that. Latest tech. Yeah, yeah, much quieter. The whole 9 yards. Yeah, we get that. Doesn't even have specs for it. Seriously? Really? Estimated shipping date is the end of this month. That's a crowdy high. And then they just put out the Spark. I don't know. I don't know. With all those different hot ends and everything and all those different pieces, I would like to see something kind of like Prusa where you could upgrade or something like that. Yeah, the Crowdy High is an open printer. It's a bed slinger. So let me see if I can bring that up. Yeah, it's a little. So there it is, $400. I mean, it used to be $600, but it's a bed slinger. And the build volume is 260 by 260 by 300. And then the Spark, that's on pre-order now. And where is the specs for that? There it is. 260 by 260 by 255. I don't know. Why don't they just go up to 300 and make something like that? Because that would be a bonus. I think that would be something that a lot of other companies are not doing. And I think they could get more customers by doing that. Because with the, let's see, the Bamboo Labs A1. Because I think that's 256 cube. Yeah, that's 256 cube. So really, with the Spark or Creality High, you're going 260. Ooh, you're adding on 4 millimeters, whatever. It's not much at all. Just go to 300, and it's a clone of the A1 anyway. So just make it 300, and yeah, I think you get more sales with that. But so many different printers. Holy crow, that is just crazy. That is really, really crazy on the number of printers that they have. It's like the High came out, and then now they have the Spark, and then the K2 Pro came out. That was a new one. The K2 and the K2 Pro, that came out at the end of last year. That's like $1,000 for the K2 Pro, the combo. Printer by itself is going to be what, $1,000, $1,050. Oh, that's just, no, we just want the Pro, $850. I'm sorry. And what is the build area on that? 300 cubed. An enclosed printer. So the K2 Pro. So that might not be bad. Interesting. $850. I don't know, but like I said, I'm leaning towards I'm leaning towards the Prusa. Swedish Forge says my first printer was an Ender 3 S1 Pro, and printing with it took it about 5 to 12 years to get a print out of it. You had a tinkering hobby. You didn't have a printing hobby. You had a tinkering hobby. That's what you ended up having there. So I remember those. The old bed slingers and leveling it with the paper and the knobs and the whole 9 yards. Yeah, that was just absolutely crazy. But yeah, the Prusa Core 1L, I'm leaning towards that. And I like the fact that Prusa is security minded, so it can be a closed system, but then you can also hook up to their little thing there too. So, Swedish says, is the K2 your first printer? The K2 Plus is my first personal printer, but I worked with 3D printers when I was working in prisons, and because I was an electronics technician, and part of the one of the businesses that they had in correctional trades. So they make like license plates. We have fiberglass. We had woodworking. They build furniture. What was some of the other stuff? They did a metal shop where they would actually make big dumpsters and prison cells, the whole 9 yards. But then they also had a 3D printing business where a business on the outside supplied the printers. Inmates get paid X amount of dollars out of the cut, out of the money, which is usually less than minimum wage, definitely. And then the prison got a cut of the money, so it still made it cheaper than what anybody else could do. But they had a number of bed slingers, and yeah, I think we're the Enders. They had some no-name printers. It was kind of a mishmash of printers. So yeah, I got to work on some of those, and so that was work stuff. We ran all the computer lines, we ran all the electrical, we had the printers installed and all that stuff, and then got to play with those and to see how they worked and how to level them. And they would do, what was it, the ASA and ABS or whatever, and they do vapor smoothing because they do medical casts and stuff like that. But mostly it was a medical business. So that somebody would scan a person's arm and say, they had a break, and instead of just doing a plaster cast, they would scan the person's arm, and then they would make the model of the cast, and then they'd send that model into the prison, and then the prison supervisor for the 3D printing would put that on the printers, the inmates watch it, make sure it works, they would do all the cleanup and the vapor smoothing and all that stuff, and then they would ship it out, and everybody got paid, and yeah, it was kind of a cool thing. But we had some experience with that. But yeah, the K2 Plus is my first personal one. So that was kind of cool. So much easier than the printers we had in the prisons. Holy crow, so much easier. Those things, we had printers there that just, you print one cast or one item, and then for 5 or 6 other items, it was down, it wouldn't work. You're switching out hot ends and this and that, and we had boards going out, so replacing boards. Yeah, it was kind of an interesting little thing. When it worked, they did well, but yeah, very, very interesting. So fun. So that's what we got going on. Anyway, I think what we're going to end up doing, I'm getting a little hungry because it's almost 11 o'clock. I had a protein shake earlier, so I was good, but I'm starting to get hangry now. So with that, I think we're going to close out this video. But as you can see, we did some upgrades. We made our lattes. The latte's all gone now. And then looking forward to doing a review on our ultrasonic knife cutter thing. That's going to be coming up. I really need to work on that. And then we're going to do that painting miniature thing at a local club this Thursday. And then Friday, to top it all off, I have a colonoscopy consult at the hospital. So it's going to be fun. Swedish Forge says 2:56 a.m. Time to go to bed. Holy crow, that is insane. Yes, go to bed. Go to bed. Thanks for watching. Appreciate that. And anybody else who's watching, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate that. That would help out. Again, I'm Steve, the retired hobby tech guy, printing, painting, American Expat in Korea, whatever. Love to see you on future streams, and we'll do painting and some other stuff, kind of a mishmash of the varied life that I have as being a retired expat here in Korea. So with that, thank you all, and we'll see you on the next video. Peace. All right, I think we're done. We are done. See ya. Yeah, have a good one. We'll see ya. We are good.